Mark, you've said before that nothing could quite match winning the first world title against Ronnie, but the noise, the atmosphere, and the manner in which you did it tonight, pretty close.
Yeah, very, very close. I mean, for me, winning it for the first time will always be top of my list, I think. And also to beat Ronnie as well. I've always said if I was to become world champion, then I'd want to play the greatest player in the final and to come out on top. And Ronnie's definitely the greatest player to ever play our game. So to beat him in the first world final will definitely be top for me. But this is, like you say, very, very close. I mean, I think the atmosphere tonight was probably more electric than the O'Sullivan final, but as far as comparisons, I'd probably just edge the 2014.
But what a roar of emotion at the end after you potted that black. That was sheer, I don't know, what was it? It was relief, elation, everything.
Yeah, just all the hard work's come out over the last year, you know, and over the last 2 weeks, and it's not something, obviously, I'm telling myself, though, if I clear up here, I'm just going to let rip and just roar like that. I mean, it's just pure, like you say, elation and just relief more than anything.
You got yourself a great lead, but Sean was in the process of coming back. It wasn't a million miles away from going to a decider, was it? It was getting close.
Yeah, I mean, he played great, I thought, from start to finish, and obviously showed what a class act he was when his back was against the wall at 17-13. Still didn't hold back, still didn't go into his shell, kept on playing the same game. And it was tough to play against, you know, because I felt as though I was playing some decent safety at times, and then he's just getting down and just smashing balls in left, right and centre, and they're not even touching the sides. And I'm like, Jesus, really? I'm thinking, like, anybody else, I'm thinking I wanted him to go from, but he's got such a great technique and such a straight action. Every time he's like looking at one, I'm thinking, well, this is basically gone. It could be the frame over. But I just had to try and stay positive, think, look, don't try and obviously go too aggressive and keep him tight. He can't keep potting him, surely, but he did all the way through the match, and just fortunately for me, he managed to miss a few towards the end.
Such a difficult thing to win a world title. As it went along across the 4 sessions, were you aware of what an incredible atmosphere was being generated? Was there a little bit of you that was enjoying that, or were you too focused on winning the match?
Yeah, I mean, you can't not feel the atmosphere out there. I mean, it was incredible from start to finish. Tonight it was extra special. I mean, when Sean walked out before me, the noise, it was deafening. And then obviously I walked out as well. I got a few cheers, a few boos, but no, it was great. I mean, it was great to be involved in. Even if I'd have come out on the losing side, I'd have been gutted, of course I would, but it was a great atmosphere to be involved in.
And what you've just indicated there perfectly illustrates your mental strength, because you weren't bothered that a few people wanted Sean to win. As far as you're concerned, that's sport, and it didn't distract you at all.
No, and that's true. You've hit the nail on the head. Exactly, it's sport. I mean, I'm going to go out there, and I understand, obviously, not everyone's going to like watching me play, and then there's going to be other people that like watching me play. Same with Ronnie, same with Sean, same with Robertson. Everyone's got their own fans, and it didn't bother me. If I was out there and 70% of the audience wanted Sean to win, then so be it. I'd take nothing to heart, you know. It's sport at the end of the day, and people have got the favourites.
Now you have got to 4. You are in illustrious company. Stephen Hendry, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Steve Davis, John Higgins, and now Mark Selby, the only players to win 4 titles at the Crucible. That is quite some list you've joined.
Yeah, incredible. To be in that category with them names is unbelievable, really, because they are the all-time greats of the game. You know, the Higgins, the Hendrys, the O'Sullivans, the Davis. Yeah, I have to pinch myself, and I think it won't really sink in for another few weeks. You know, when I look back and people say to me, "Look, do you realise what you've achieved?" Because at the moment, I'm still in the clouds and just like still buzzing, really.
And I know it's not that long since your 3rd title in 2017, but you know there was a spell where you weren't as dominant, and during that period, did you doubt that you might ever win a 4th title? Were there times where you thought, I'm not feeling it at the moment, maybe I won't make another final?
Yeah, I mean, not only another final, world final, but I was just doubting whether I'd win anything again, you know, because I was struggling, especially mentally. I probably wasn't struggling as much physically, but I felt as though I was, because I wasn't in a good frame of mind mentally. So, yeah, I had patches where I thought, look, obviously, like, do I like carry on playing? Because I said to Vicky, I said, look, I'm just not enjoying it no more. And I've always said the biggest thing for me is the enjoyment. Doesn't matter whether I could be number 1 or number 2 in the world, but if I'm not enjoying it, I'd rather put my cue away and not play again. So Vicky said, look, just go out there and just try and enjoy it, and just like what will be, just go out there and play, and if you lose, just take it as a game. But obviously that's just not in my nature, you know. I have to go out there, and unless I'm playing it to a top level, then obviously I'm not I can't be happy with myself. So I said to Vicky, I said, look, something needs to change. And she said, look, why don't you have a word with Chris? Obviously, you see him at tournaments, you always speak to him, you're always asking him for advice, and he's giving you advice. But it got to a point that he couldn't give me too much more, because if with players like Sean and working with them, and if he was giving me the same advice what he's giving them, but I'm not on board with him, then it's not fair on the players who he's got. So I pulled him aside and I said, look, I probably need a bit of help. What's the chances of me coming on board? And he said, look, I'd love to have you on board. And we've been working 10 months, and here I am sitting here, world champion after 10 months, which is incredible.
I know you're going to have a well-deserved break and maybe treat Sophia and Vicky to a few nice things. And I also know how much it meant you to be world number one. And now that you've got the 500,000 points,
Yeah.
You're pretty close to Judd. Is that something that you'll be pursuing in the early part of next season? One big win for you, an early defeat for him, and it's going to get very tight.
Yeah, I mean, I've always have goals. I mean, I think every season you go into, you have to have some kind of goals. And my goal is always to try and win a tournament per year, because I think the standard of snooker now, if you're winning one tournament a year, you've got to see that as a good season. So that's always my goal, to try and win one tournament a year. But then at the back of my mind is to try and get back to that number one spot. So I'm going in the right direction. I'm a little bit closer, but as you say, still quite a long way beyond Judd.
And just finally, if you can try and put this into words, what do you think your abiding memory of this world title will be, as opposed to the others?
I think, obviously, just coming back with what we've experienced over the last 12 to 15 months, it's been tough for everyone just around the world, not only for us playing snooker, but to just play in front of nobody, it's been quite tough. So to actually come back here and be the first world champion back when they've used it as a pilot event for crowds would probably stick with me in years to come. And with what we've gone through over the last 12 to 15 months, hopefully we don't experience that again in our lifetime. So yeah, it's something that will live with me forever.
And for all of us who witnessed it, well done, Mark. Enjoy your reign.
Cheers, Rob. Thanks, mate.
Betfred, proud sponsor of the World Snooker Championship.